Good afternoon. It is Friday the 16th of May. It's just coming up to about 4:30. I haven't been out and done an Uber shift since last Saturday now. Yeah, like I've said in a couple of the other videos, I'm just almost finding it painful to come out and run round on a weekday for the prices Uber's offering. It's just really painful, to be honest, doing it. Don't mind doing Friday, Saturday, as long as it's busy. So yeah, I've just been doing my own private jobs all week. I've got another one tonight, which is a collection at 10 past midnight, Manchester Airport. So yeah, I'm going to basically be doing Uber up until that point. And then by the time I pick them up, drop them off in Southport and get home, it'll probably be about 1:30, 2 o'clock, so I'll call that a night then. So yeah, in the run up to that, I've probably got like 6-7 hours thereabouts. I can do a bit of Uber, because obviously I'll have to jump on a rapid charger before I pick the customers up. But yeah, other than that, it's my website finally went live today, so I've been going back and forth throughout the week with them. So yeah, it's literally just gone live this morning. Still got like a couple of like little teething things, and like doing a few little changes and that. So I've sent a link out to every man and his dog, basically saying have a look over this and tell me if you spot anything that you don't like, or the prices aren't quite right, or this or that or whatever. So yeah, I'll put the link underneath in the bio. But if you are bored and you want to have a little look, it's basically executive-airport-transfer.co.uk. If you Google executive airport transfer, it's not quite coming up as of yet, because it's only just gone live, so it needs time for like all the bots to find it and whatnot, and all like the SEO and all that to kick in. But yeah, it's taking a good few weeks non-stop going back and forth, trying to do that, to be honest. But yeah, I'm glad that's up and running. A lot of the time I was spending, people would reach out to me, whether it was through social media or on WhatsApp and that, saying I'm going here on this day, X amount of passengers, and it's just going back and forth, and you trying to extract the information from them and then give them a quote. I'll probably say 75% of them then go forward with that, but then obviously 25 are like, oh no, I'll leave it, because the mate Dave's going to drop them off for a £5 of petrol or something. So yeah, it takes up so much time, and then even when you've got all that information, you then have to generate the invoice, send that over, send them the payment link. Honestly, it was a nightmare. Like, you were happy you were doing it, because obviously you're getting paid 200-300 quid for the job, but it's just a nightmare doing it. Whereas on this now, you can just go straight on my website, it'll give you a price there, and then you can add as multiple stops. I've tried to basically add as much integration into it as almost like Uber, really. So you can add all your stops, you can pick how many passengers, blah blah blah, gives you a price. If you're happy with it, click on it and you can pay there and then. So it's all done nice and easy. And yeah, other than that, that's about it. I was watching some of, if you watch Rideshare Buddy UK, I'd seen it a while back. He uses an online operator, OTS. So I'd signed up to them. I think I'd mentioned it in the other video. You sign up to them as long as you're an operator, and then you have to wait. It's supposed to be like a week for like a code to come out in the post, which you then email to them, and they then activate your account. Anyway, it took about 3 weeks for that to happen. Finally happened, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. So basically, long story short, you load the platform up, and then jobs start coming through. So like a bit of an example, they're shocking, by the way. So it hasn't worked for me. I haven't done a single job for them. So basically, it comes up and it'll say where the collection from. So for example, on this one, it says Manchester Airport Terminal 1, and it's going to Carlisle, this particular one. It tells you what time the flight's coming in, obviously the date, the time. It says it's one passenger with a suitcase, so anything from a saloon car upwards is fine to accept the job. So then what it says on the OTS at the bottom, you basically put your bidding price in. So it's like eBay in reverse. So all the operators are bidding on the job, and whoever bids the lowest gets the job, basically. But it gives you the guideline. So it says this route is roughly 144 miles from Manchester Airport to Carlisle. As a guide, we are expecting prices of £145 or lower. So basically, they want you to run, even if you put in 145, which I'd never do in a month of Sundays, you're running at £1 a mile, that's going. And obviously you need to get back, so you're running at 50p a mile. It's crazy. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, I took a screenshot. If you go on to Uber, which we all know is like the cheapest you're going to basically get a cab anywhere, just to get an Uber X from the Manchester Airport to Carlisle is £260. So it's basically £115 more than what OTS is willing to pay any operator, you know, for the 145 miles. So when I priced the job, I probably would have done it for, I think at the time it was like 280 or 290 or something like that. And then I looked on Uber and I thought, oh, I'm not a million miles higher than what Uber is. And that's obviously, I kind of have like two tariffs because I've only got the one vehicle. So on my website now, if you book and there's up to 4 passengers, you're allowed to take 2 suitcases with you. So that basically falls in line with either other operators or kind of Uber. So if you're going out of town and there's 4 of yous, I will do it at a lower rate, because some other operators, they have cars, they have minibuses, they have 16-seaters, so they can pair you to the correct vehicle, which is the same as Uber. You know, you can just go in an X, because you know you're not really going to pick an XL if there's only 4 of yous. Some people do, because they obviously don't want more space, but a lot of people will just obviously book the X because it's cheaper. So I can't just have one tariff, which is the higher, like, XL tariff, if that's what you want to call it, because then a lot of people will look at it and say, well, other operators do it cheaper because they're running cars, or Uber does it cheaper because they're running cars. So I basically, like I said, I have 2 tariffs. I have the lower tariff if it's up to 4 people and 2 suitcases, because most cars or saloons or whatever, obviously you can take 4 passengers and you'll get up to 2 suitcases. I'm not talking about hand luggage, I'm talking about actual full-size suitcases. Now in my Audi e-tron you can get 1 full suitcase in the boot and carry-on luggage, so you can't even do that in my car. But I appreciate there's going to be, you know, some of the cars out there, estates, things like that, you know, you might get 2, maybe even 3 depending on the car, but on average you're going to get, I'd say, 2 suitcases and 4 adults in the car. Anything more than that, obviously, if there's 4 people and 4 suitcases, because normally people take their own suitcase, you're gonna need a people carrier. You're gonna, if you were doing it through Uber, you would have to book an XL, and then even then, it doesn't guarantee you're gonna get 4 suitcases in. But if you went to an operator and there was 4 of you with 4 suitcases, you would have to get basically like a people carrier or something to get that many people in. So that's why I have the tariff for 4 people and 2 suitcases is kind of classed as like an X. And then if there's 4 people or more, or there's 4 people and more than 2 suitcases, then you have to pay the higher tariff, which is like the XL tariff, so to speak. Even if there's 4 people and 3 suitcases, or if there's 4 people and 4 suitcases, like I said, because then I'm missing out. I would then technically be running around doing like saloon kind of prices, car prices or X prices, when obviously I can be charging more. So that's kind of how I've done it. I need 2 tariffs even though I've only got the 1 vehicle. So anyway, I priced that job as like a saloon car, so I think it was like 280 quid, so it was still more expensive than Uber, but obviously you're getting this rather than you know, a little tiny Uber, and especially if you're going to be travelling for, because I think it was like nearly 3 hours, I think 2.5 hours if I remember correctly off the top of my head, to get to Carlisle. Obviously you might need a little break on the way or whatever, so I always see it as worst case scenario when I'm pricing a job. If Google Maps or Uber or whoever say to get there is going to take you 2.5 hours, I'll look at the time of day, think, oh, with traffic I'm going to call it 3, because I need to plan if I can accept other jobs after that. So like I said, I looked at this job and see it as it's going to be between 5.5 to 6 hours. Uber are basically saying if you drive 145 miles there, you're not going to hit any traffic and you're going to smash that out in 2.5 hours. Now, anyone who's had the license for more than, you know, a day is going to know that you're not going to be able to drive all the way to Carlisle from Manchester Airport in rush hour traffic in 2.5 hours. It's not going to happen. So yeah, like I said, even I would have charged about £280 for that job, which is double what OTS is willing to pay you at the highest rate. And bearing in mind, even if I bid on that for £145, another operator will go on and say, I'll do that for £140, and then someone says, oh, I'll do that for £130, and then it's a race to the bottom. It's ridiculous. So like I said, even if you do that there, 145 quid, 145, and I'm factoring in 6 hours. 145, and then you're doing your 145 miles. So if you look at it from a diesel point of view, why isn't this deleting? 145. I normally look at like the Mercedes Vitos, which are diesels, and when you Google it, that's anywhere between like 14 and 19 pence per mile, obviously depending on the spec. So even if you put the 145 times 2, because obviously you come back, that's 290 miles. You times that by 0.14. So it's going to cost you 40 quid in diesel to do that job. In an EV, in my EV, it would cost probably more. So setting off, obviously I've got my home charge, so that was only 3 quid. But then motorway miles, it would be like 110, and then I'd have to do a small little rapid charge just so I can get the customer off there, you know, quite quickly. So that little 10-15 minute stop while they run in for a wee, I top up. So I'd have to throw in a quick £5 or £10. So straight away then I'm at like at least 15 quid. And then I'd set off, and then I'd need another full charge to get back home. So during the day, even with the BP card, you're looking at 25 quid. So with the other 15, so yeah, probably technically it's probably going to cost me about £40 an electric to get back on a flat tank. So like I said, if you start off with that 145, you minus your £40 in fuel, so you got £105 left. You then divide that by your 6, down to £17.50. You then minus 25%, which is kind of a rule of thumb for obviously your tax, but then you're also accounting for your national insurance and things like that. So then that then leaves you £13.12 an hour. And then obviously you need to put money aside for, like, you know, repairs to the vehicle. Now everyone has a different amount. Some people might just put 20 quid a week, some people put 50, some say whatever I earn I put X amount of percent. So again, it's different, but that's just a bit of an idea of if you accept a job that is that low, and bearing in mind that's if you even win that bid at 145, it'll go for less. People don't factor this kind of stuff in. They just see it as, oh, 145 quid, I get there and back in you know, in like 5 hours, because that's what OTS say I'm going to do it. So that's great. That's like £30 an hour. That's how they see it, and it's crazy. They don't see it as, well, I'm going to set by the time I take off my fuel, I've paid my tax, my national insurance, and I haven't paid anything else. That's £13.12 an hour. You get paid that working in McDonald's. So it's like, why run all over the country? Why have all, you know, the bother and the expenses of vehicle and licensing and, you know, the million and one other things that comes with it to run round on £13 an hour? It's ridiculous. So like I said, my price was almost double that, which I get paid day in, day out running them customers. That's not like I'm charging some obscene amount of money. So then my net would then be roughly £25 to £26 an hour, which is a lot better. And that would have been for that particular job, because it was an X job. Obviously for the XL jobs, obviously when I've got 5 or 6 people in, I'm getting paid more than that. But it's just an example really of showing you kind of like how bad it is. So it's almost like OTS, I've got that job in from the passenger, they've probably been paid like £250 from whatever company has passed it on to OTS to find a driver. They've taken their commission, because I know UberX is saying that they're charging 260, but by the time they've taken their commission off, they too will only pay the driver probably £150 if that, to run all the way to Carlisle. So OTS are doing exactly the same. They're taking basically the same amount of commission as what Uber's taking. Yeah, and it's crazy. Another one came up after that. This one was, they wanted a driver to go to Barrow-in-Furness to pick one person up, one suitcase, and to take them to Manchester Airport. And that was 108 miles. But bearing in mind, for me to get there, that's like probably 100 miles to get there. And then 108 miles back to Manchester Airport. And then it's like best part of an hour from Manchester Airport to get back home. You know, so, you know, in total you're looking at like at least 250 miles easily. And that's basically saying, I looked at what Uber would charge for that one, and Uber would charge the passenger 173. So what they would give to the customer, the driver, as you know, if you're lucky, it'd be like 100 quid to do the 100 miles. So OTS for that job was saying, as a guide, we're looking at prices of £115 or lower. And you're thinking, wow, 115. So basically, again, to get there and get back, you're on about 50p a mile. It's ridiculous. And all these jobs are coming up, and they're all flying out. So people are accepting them. There's drivers out there now who'll be flying about. I've spoken to them. I remember speaking to an operator just as I was getting into it, and I got my operator's license, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're mad busy. Oh, we just can't cope with the amount of work that we're getting." And I'm thinking, well, things must be really good. And then I reached out to him a couple of months ago, and he was like, yeah, well, you know, what sort of prices do you run at, and blah blah blah. And I was kind of telling him. He was like, yeah. So basically, by the time we got the job, and you know, we then passed it over to you, I don't think there'd be much meat on the bone left and all this. So basically what he's trying to say is, he's going on the likes of OTS. He's accepting jobs for 50p a mile and taking them. You know, so yeah, you're busy, you're running around, but you're running yourself and your vehicle into the ground, and you're pulling basically minimum wage. And it's like, what's the point in doing that? You know, if you want to pull minimum wage, you can just go to any local business, anywhere that's local. Could be anything, could be Greggs, could be Tesco's, whatever. You can turn up, not have a care in the world. You can work on minimum wage, or they might be paying you just above minimum wage, and you can just stroll in and basically do nothing, because you get paid as the people in there who are working their ass off. So it's like, what's the point in having all of this responsibility to be running around on minimum wage? You just don't do it, but people are doing it. And it's like, it's funny but also sad at the same time. So like I said, I've put bids in for jobs, but they've always been higher. So I think, like, I've typed in one there, I think for like that Barrow-in-Furness one, I submitted the bid of £200, which is almost double what they were saying that they were looking to pay somebody. Because I know that basically they would have been paid about £200 for that. They've taken like 75, 80 £80 commission, and they then passed that on to whatever idiot is willing to take that job. So yeah, I've probably put bids in for about 30 jobs, and obviously I haven't been accepted for all of them, because not one of them has been anywhere near the guide price or the pants down price. They should rename it pants down price. So yeah, I can't see me getting any jobs off that, if I'm being honest, unless it just so happens to be like one popped up saying if they think you're the nearest driver to where you're registered to, you get an email to say, quick, we think this one matches you spot on. So one popped up the other day. They wanted me to drive all the way to Coventry, which is over 100 miles, to bring someone back to Bearscough, which is like 2 miles away. So I was like, alright, let me have a look at this. And then they're basically saying like, oh yeah, we're looking at bids of like £115. And I'm like, but that's like 200 miles. So how's that in my favour? Like, you want me to run round on 50p a mile? It's just, honestly, it's ridiculous. So the only way I can see OTS working for an operator is if, say, like, if I was going to take someone to Manchester Airport now, so I'd be up in Manchester, say 6 o'clock, and I've done my drop off. If a job just so happened to pop up on there, for Manchester Airport on Friday night at 6:30, and it was going wherever, say somewhere back towards where you live, then you go, oh yeah, that's great, because then it wouldn't be too bad, because they might be offering 70, 80, 90 pound or whatever, and you're thinking, I could smash that out in an hour, and I'm going back that way anyway. But the odds of your workload as an operator aligning with that of OTS is, I mean, you might as well go and buy a lottery ticket on the Euro Millions, because you've got more chance of your numbers coming in on that, to be honest. So yeah, that was just a quick little rundown on that. Basically, I've jumped through all the hoops and everything to get signed up to it, and I didn't realise the prices were going to be so ridiculous. And that's about it. So yeah, after that little rant, I'm going to be going out now. It's 26 degrees. And yeah, I think that's about it. I haven't really done anything else, to be honest. It's going to load the app up. No doubt it's going to ask me to scan my face because I haven't been logged on for a while. Just starting off now, my rating's still on 4.99. It's been like that for about 3 months now. I don't know if because nobody's leaving feedback or anything, because obviously when they leave feedback, it's over your last 500 ratings. Then obviously like the bad ones, so to speak, because I've got 2 4-stars and there's a 1 2-star on there. I was supposed to drop off, and I got them like, I think it was like before Christmas, so I don't know why they're still on there. My confirmation rate is on 21%. If you go out and it's a couple of hours back to back of good jobs, like I think it was last Saturday or the Saturday before, that jumped back up into the 50s because the jobs were good. And then you come back out and those jobs are just crap, and it just plummets again. Cancellation rate is on 1%. That's because of that idiot last Saturday, I think it was, when I was messaging him, and he was like 10 foot down a closed road, obviously stood outside the bar, and basically he wasn't communicating with me, so I had no choice but to cancel it. I couldn't physically get to where he placed the dot for the job to start and for it to notify him. So I had no choice but to cancel it, and obviously I've clicked on it to say like I couldn't. It wasn't a safe pickup location because it wasn't. The road was closed, but then that still goes against me as a cancellation. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much about it, to be honest. I'm gonna go off out now. It's got a couple of little surgy spots here and there, but I don't believe them. Don't think anybody does. Yeah, and I'll see what happens, and I'll keep you updated. So it's just coming up to 8 o'clock. It's been kind of ticking over. A couple of decent jobs, a couple of crap jobs mixed in. So the first one is just as I'd come online, I was pretty much at the end of my road, and then I got a little job for a little train station nearby. Stopped there, and then thought, oh, this means that the guy's still on the train. Lo and behold, he sends me a message saying I'll be there in a second, and then the barriers come down, train pulled up, and then he was just jumping out round the corner. £4.05 for 2.3 miles. So yeah, I only took it because, like I said, I was literally like 100 yards. I was just about to drive past it, to be honest, so it wasn't too bad. After that, I then got a Banks going into Southport. That was 11:59. It was a 13-minute job going 4.7 miles, but then I did run probably 2 to 3 miles to it at least. Dropped off in Southport, had a little Southport to Southport, £5.03. It was a 10-minute job though, and it was going 3 miles, so it was a bit crap. The jobs were just really slow, but there was quite a few that came through. I think when I just logged off then it said I've been offered 25 jobs, but I have accepted 7. The one after that was a £6.44, 3-minute job going 1.2 miles, so slightly better job. The one after that, including a £2 tip, Southport to Southport, so I got £7.25. It was a 9-minute job going 3.4 miles. And then that kind of took me to the south of Southport, and then I got an XL job, which was Formby, so I had to run, I think it was about 2 miles to it, and it said it was going to Aintree. It was an XL job. It was saying it was going to take half an hour, so it wasn't too bad, because normally up this way you'll be offered anywhere from as low as like 20 quid up to 50 to go all the way into Liverpool city centre, which is like an hour's drive. So yeah, it was £29.95 XL, and it was a 29-minute job. It was going just over 12 miles. So I picked up in Formby, drove round the corner about a mile to pick the friends up, and then it was taking me to Aintree Racecourse. I was thinking, oh bloody hell. So I don't know if there's like, apparently there's like some racing got on there and then like a bit of a concert, because most of the people that were going in and out were like younger, to be honest. He did say, oh, is it okay if you stop at the garage? I think he'd forgot like his liquid or something for his e-cigs. And I was like, yeah, if you add it on as a stop, I'll stop, that's no problem. He was like, all right, okay, yeah. And then like 30 seconds later, he turns around and goes, so are you okay to stop at the garage? I said, I've just said to you, if you add it to the stop, I can stop, that's not a problem. I said, I can only do it if you add it, because otherwise I'm not insured. All right, okay. So then he's trying to tell like his missus to add the stop, and she's like, oh, you can't add it if the journey started and all this. And he's like, I know how Uber works, just add it. So anyway, I think she passed the phone over to him and he added it. And he said, see, it's only gone up 10p, so I owe you 10p. And I was thinking, wow. So, I mean, I know technically I was driving past the BP petrol station. It's the one in Formby that I'll stop at and charge up at quite a lot. But it's the fact that Uber's only charged them an extra 10p for me to pull over and for him to go in. And he was in there for like 2 minutes, but I'm thinking 10p. So I dropped off down there, and then I thought, I want to get out of here, because then jobs started popping up, which were like a mile away. People wanted picking up and bringing back to the racecourse, and it was like, you know, £3.50 for these like little crap jobs, and they just kept popping up because people couldn't be bothered to walk around. So I thought, I want to start heading back towards Southport, because I thought I can only stay out till about 10:30, because then I'm going to have to drive, do Uber till about 10:30, because then I'm going to have to drive towards like Manchester Airport to be on charge at about 11:30. So I'm fully charged again for like 12:10 for when the customer phones me to say that they're ready to be picked up. So I started heading back down this way because it was obviously a bit closer, and then I got a job which was Formby coming to the outskirts of Southport. So that was £15.88, 12-minute job going 5.7 miles. So that got me most of the way back. And yeah, so I've just dropped them off now, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, a mile and a half away from like the Southport town centre. Yeah, and that's about it really. So I'm currently on £80 and 19 pence, and I've done 3 hours. So that's working out to £26.73 an hour. So yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, there's been some good jobs mixed in there with some crap jobs, so it's kind of like balanced its way out. So yeah, I'm just kind of debating now, because normally on a Friday it gets to 8 o'clock, which it is now, and then there's just no jobs whatsoever. So the wife actually just phoned me before, and she said, oh, you're coming back at your normal time, with it being Friday. And I was like, oh well, you know, I've got that other private job. I said, so my intention was just to stay out and do Uber until I need to, you know, like I've just said before, start heading towards the airport to charge up and that. But I said to her, if it's completely dead, obviously I'm not just gonna hang about for like 2.5 hours, because that's just crap. So I might as well go home, because basically I need to drive past my house from here to get to Manchester Airport. So yeah, I said to her, once I get back into Southport, it's going to be about 8 o'clock. I'll give it like 15-20 minutes, see if anything's like pinging up, anything worth doing, and if it is, obviously I'll do it and stay out. I said, but if there's just nothing, I'm not waiting more than 15-20 minutes, I said, and then I'll just log off, and I'd rather go home and sit there till about 10:30, 11 o'clock, because I can go home and charge up there a little bit, you see, or I can just, saying that, I've still got loads of credit on my BP card from Uber. So yeah, I might as well just drive home, have something to eat, spend a couple of hours with the missus, and then just set off from mine. And like I said, I go to the BP garage, which is like, it's like a mile from the airport, and that's where I like to charge up, because then when the customer sends you a message to say that they've collected the the suitcases. You literally like, it's like a 5 or 6 minute drive round. So it's like perfect timing. Obviously you don't have to pay for parking. You're not rammed in that big holding area with like 200 Uber drivers. I know that's only like £2 or something, I don't know. I've never been in there. I've seen it on YouTube. Like, I've heard all like the toilets are horrendous and everything if you want to use them. Whereas, yeah, I go to this BP one because it's like an M&S one, so you've got facilities in there, food. You don't have to pay for parking if you're charging up and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll see what happens. Like I said, I've been online now for what, 2 or 3 minutes while I've been talking. Nothing's coming through. It's crazy the way how dead Fridays have gone. Like I said, I used to come out last year and it'd be non-stop. I'd log on at like 5-6 o'clock and it would just be non-stop, and then I'd end up going on charge at like 9-10 o'clock for an hour, and then it'd be non-stop again until like 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, for like the past 2 months now, gets to 8 o'clock, nothing, completely dead. So yeah, at this point I can see me getting food and going home, to be honest. that's what my head's telling me to do. Because yeah, like I said, I'll be doing that job later on, get some sleep, and then I'm aiming to come out tomorrow. Try and get out a bit earlier. I've been determined for see, it's like £4, 10-minute job, 3 miles. But when it says 10 minutes, what you also have to factor in is they have up to 5 minutes to come out, which a lot of them do. So straight away that then takes that to a potential 15 minutes, and then you've got best part of like 30 seconds to a minute tipping them out. So that's like 15-16 minute job, and you're thinking, if that's for like £4, it's crap. It's really crap. Like I said, even if you got 4 of them back to back, that's £16 for the hour. You know, whereas I've been on, well, I'm currently on just over £26. So you've just got to know how to pick your jobs and let the other ones go. So tempting to go, well, I haven't had a job for like 10 or 15 minutes now. Oh, it's £4, I'll take you. You're just running yourself into the ground. It's pointless. So what was I saying? Yeah, the last couple of Saturdays, or not last Saturday, the one before, you know, I done my private job in the morning, and then I came out at midday, and then I done like 14 hours on Uber, but I had like 3 minutes of drive time left. So yeah, I'll try and come out maybe about 11 tomorrow, and then basically I'm just going to stay on Uber until my drive time runs out, hopefully. That's about it. So I'll leave that there, because I think there's a high probability that I'm just going to be getting food and going home. But like I said, if I stay out and there's more jobs, I'll give you another update shortly.